Hi, everyone. Welcome back. We are here for week 5 of our curriculum ebook meetings. We are super excited that you're back, and hopefully these videos have been helpful to those of you that have been able to jump on and watch them. We do have one more week next week, and so that will be the last one. But today we're talking about finding connections in daily life. So Megan, if you want to just go ahead and we'll jump right into it.
Yeah. So the idea behind this is that learning is happening all the time, not just at school, not just like when you sit down and do homeschool, whatever. Like it is happening 24/7 for your child. Everything is new to them, everything is exciting, everything is a learning opportunity. And so, how do we foster this? Is what I'm going to be talking about. Is because obviously it will be happening anyways, but we can foster it and make it even better, and that will just help our child have one leg up in life. So there are 5 points that I want to talk about, starting with number 1, which is talk. Like a lot, just be talking. Talk about what you're doing, talk about what you're thinking, talk about what your child's doing, what they might be thinking, what they might be wondering, what they might be feeling. Talk about things in the environment. Put all those thoughts going on in your head, notice them first, and then put them into words and say them. Just giving vocabulary, so much vocabulary that your child has to learn. Like, if you had any idea how many words even just you think, or how many feelings or emotions or thoughts that you can think, like all new to your child. And so just putting those in, like, I'm washing the dishes, I'm using soap because it gets the dirt off, I'm tying my shoes so that it doesn't fall off while I go running. I'm going to, you might be, are you feeling frustrated because your toy keeps breaking? Like, oh, look, a yellow car. The light's yellow. That means it's about to turn red. Just like all of these little things that your brain is subconsciously noticing and saying to you, say those things. All the things that you are consciously noticing because of this, all the things that are just happening. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so the whole point of it is that you're giving them vocabulary to explain things, right?
Exactly. You're giving them vocabulary. And on top of that, also, you're just helping them notice and understand what's going on, right? Because some things they might not notice as important, like, for example, the light changing from red, yellow, and green. So they might not even notice that. So bringing things like that to their attention. And then other things they might notice but not understand. Like, why is that happening? Like, why is this ice cream cold? Things that they just maybe don't understand. So you're giving them vocabulary and understanding. So just talk, talk, talk. And 2 goes right along with that, and that is listen. You should not just like be dominating, never letting your child say anything. Like when I say talk a lot, you should also be listening. Listen to what they're saying and listen to how their behavior is telling you things, because they're constantly telling you what they need and what's happening in their life, whether verbally or through their behavior, because maybe they don't even know. Maybe they're super tired and that's coming across as I'm throwing fits, right? They don't even understand, oh, I need a nap, but they're telling you that. And so you need to listen to that. Um, and on top of that, so that's kind of just like basic needs. Listen to their basic needs, listen to what they're telling you, listen to what their body's telling you. But on top of that, they're like, I don't know, their biology, they know what they need to learn. That's what's going to be interesting to them. If they are constantly talking about colors, they're ready to learn about colors. You just start putting colors into every experience you can. If they're always talking about colors, say, here's your red bowl, here's your yellow spoon, there's the green grass, look, the sky is super blue, that cloud is white, our carpet is brown. Just everything, talk about colors. Do activities that are like coloring, whatever it is that they're talking about. If it's about numbers, right now Tell is super into learning that, like, we used to be 1 and now he's 2, so we're constantly 1 2, I'm 1 2 1 2. So just talking about numbers all the time, they will be interested in what they need to learn. So listen to that and follow their lead and dive into whatever it is that they're telling you they need to learn. Because obviously, like, they can learn things that aren't like top of their mind, but whatever's the top of their mind that they're so ready to learn, that's what they're going to learn. Like this, that's what they're going to be interested and engaged in. And this also goes for like physical things. For example, right now, Colt is like, he just learned how to crawl, and he's like really wanting me to hold his hand so he can like walk, right? So he's learning that walking motion with his feet, and he just wants to do that all the time, which tells me that he's really needing to learn that. And if I do that right now, it's going to be so easy for him to learn it and pick it up on it. So I can go for all types of learning. Number 3 is to notice. Just notice the magic and the learning of everyday opportunities. Like when you see a butterfly, point it out. Talk about how colorful it is. Talk about how they fly so far in their life. Talk about how they pollinate. If your child points out something, if your child's like, Mom, look at that cool tree, be like, yeah, it's green. It helps, it cleans our air. It grew from a seed. Anything about it, like they probably don't know all of this knowledge that you have about anything. Like I could name any item, object, experience, and you probably could tell me 10 different things about it that your child doesn't know, that you just kind of know because you've picked up from living. Notice those, point them out, talk about them. If your child notices something, just run with that and just slow down and say like, notice the world. Okay, number 4 is know what interests your child. And this is not so much like the I love rainbows, I love unicorns, I love yellow, I love trucks. That's important, but that's not exactly what I'm getting at. I'm coming back. I really want to emphasize this point. I talked about it in listen. I'm talking about it again here. It's important. Your child knows what they need to learn. Emphasize that. That will be the most powerful way that you can level up the learning, is by going with that, following their lead in what to learn. Don't be afraid to test out things either. If you think that your child's probably getting ready to learn about colors, start talking about colors. If they latch on, run with it. If they're just totally not ready and it's just like, that's all right, come back to it later. If you think your child is, like ready to ride a bike, get them on that bike, test it out. If they're figuring it out, keep trying, keep practicing. If it's totally out of their zone, like come back to it later. So just noticing what things they're interested in. They'll usually lead you, but you can totally test out things and see what gets on. So in school, for teachers learn about something called emergent curriculum, which is basically, you kind of have like the idea of like, okay, I'm going to write a curriculum. So beginning of the school year, we're going to learn about, the letter A the first week, the letter B the second week, the letter C or whatever, and you think you have it all planned out. But emergent curriculum is saying, obviously the first, for a teacher, you have to have something planned. But after that, you just notice what your child loves. For example, in my student teaching, the class loved butterflies. We literally probably spent 2 months talking about butterflies. We got the little thing and raised butterflies. We set them free. We talked about pollinators. We talked about the other pollinators going off on that. So then we learned about bees. We learned about plants, planted a little garden. We did some composting. And it just starts from one little thing, and you can just branch off into all of these different interests that you're finding. And that's what's called emergent, is because you're just learning that's something that they're interested in. So for example, where we went with butterflies, learning about pollinators, learning about gardens, if they had really been interested in gardens, we totally could have done a whole other curriculum just on gardens, And so just that same principle applies for you. Whatever your child's interested in, don't be afraid to dive in and learn all about it with them. Watch videos on it, do experiments about it, read books about it, draw pictures about it, talk about it. Just all of the things just to totally learn and deep dive about it, because that is such a powerful skill that kids have. Well, this is going to be a really short one because we're already to number 5. And number 5 is, most importantly, keep trying, keep noticing, keep teaching. Don't be discouraged when it doesn't go maybe like a Pinterest perfect lesson might go. Every experience is something that your child is learning. Every experience is adding value, even if it's not this picture perfect thing. Just doing those things, talking a lot, listening, noticing, and following your child's interest. And then just keep doing it and keep trying, because it's always going to be building. Your child's always going to be ready to learn a new thing. And that's how you can make the most of just everyday moments teaching, because that's where your child really learns, is in those everyday moments when they're ready to learn.
So as far as tying this in to the curriculum, how would you recommend going about that? Is it just know what's in the curriculum and then you can take the opportunity to, if something happens to come up, point stuff out that's similar to what's in the curriculum? Or is it like tailoring what the curriculum is about? How would you recommend like applying this concept?
Okay, so I'm gonna say both. So knowing, just kind of knowing what it is, what's in it, and pointing it out. That's a just like super good way to just ingrain it into what they know about whenever it comes up. You're not having to plan a time. That's super helpful. Another thing is you could just take one lesson and just try do the same thing just on a smaller scale. Just be like, okay, just about gardens or just about growing this seed, and trying to incorporate that in and talk about that and notice things about that. That might feel, if it's too daunting to feel like, oh, all of these things that we're trying to be on top of, but like it doesn't have to be stressful. Even if you just start with one thing, you can just start with, okay, we're growing this little seed in this bag, we're going to notice other seeds, we're going to notice other plants. Just starting there, and just it will snowball. You'll get the hang of it, and you'll start being able to see all of these things related to the curriculum and just related to what you're learning. Your second one about kind of catering the curriculum. Yes, yes, yes. That is emergent curriculum. I have that curriculum, and I want you to take it and branch off wherever your child is interested. If they're super interested in the like worms in the garden, totally go off that. You don't have to stick to just learning about how our food is grown in the garden. You can totally go on a whole thing about, yeah, worms help so our plants grow so we can have food, and worms help the soil. They aerate the soil, and like this is the parts of a worm. This is a lifespan of a worm. Let's get a little worm farm. I don't know, whatever, however intense your child is interested in that, just diving into that. You do not have to stick with it. I would say any curriculum that you get, any lesson plans, any activities like that, totally use them as a baseline. Totally start somewhere and then branch off and follow your child's lead.
I think the other thing to point out too is that the curriculum's all based on like, where does my food come from? But lots of the activities could totally be taken into something entirely separate. Like if your kid's interested in space, you could do the dramatic play about space, or you could do the sensory bins about space. Like you could totally take the same general activity formats and switch them to an entirely different topic.
Exactly. Being the mom, you can totally customize everything to your child. Like there is nothing wrong with that. Don't let anyone else tell you that they know what's better for your child than you do, because you totally do. You have your intuition. You're with your child all the time. You know what they're learning, and it's awesome to get guides like this. Like, and that's why we're here. We want to give you resources to start, the confidence, the skills to start. And then I just want it to snowball till you feel so confident and you are championing that role of being your child's first teacher.
Awesome. Well, hopefully this was helpful to everybody. And we hope that you are able to use the curriculum and that you're able to be having fun with it this summer. Like I said earlier, this is the second to last one. So next week will be the last weekly meeting. If you have any questions that you'd like answered, feel free to DM us, email us, and we would love to answer those, or comment them down below, and we will also be watching that. But we'll see you next week.